This is WZRD Chicago 88.3 FM. And we have with us at WZRD via in the studio the Pullstring Band. Hello, fellas. Could you give us your names and what you do in the band?
Sure thing. Happy to be here. Thank you for having us. This is Toke. I'm the guitarist and manager for Pullstring.
I'm Will. I play drums in the band.
I'm Alex. I do vocals and rhythm guitar.
I'm Chris and I play bass.
Okay. And so how did why Pullstring? What inspired you to name your band Pullstring? And is this the first name or was there ever a name change?
So there was a bit of a struggle with the band name at first. Because there's all kinds of ideas that we had, but they were either taken, too stupid, or we just could not agree on them whatsoever.
So then one day I was spitballing ideas with my girlfriend Kayla. We looked up at our ceiling fan, which had one of those old school like pull string things on it. Pull it to turn the light on, and she was like, "What about pull string?" And I was like, "You know what? I kind of like it." And I brought it to the guys, and it took a little bit, but then they were like, "Yeah, that works." And it was open. It was available.
Yeah, it was the only one we could all agree on. But we had worse ideas too.
Yeah, but here we are 2 years later, and we're like, "Yeah, it's a good name."
Uh, what were some of your other ideas? Do you still remember what they were?
Oh yeah, we had one for a while called the Chodes. That one's still my personal favorite, but for a variety of reasons, that one was not a
I don't even remember what some of the other ones were. They all kind of faded to history.
pretty much.
Okay, and how did you come together as a band? And did you come together? So you did come together before you chose the Pullstring Band. So uh, how did you work together before you had the name?
Well,
Uh,
through an odd series of coincidences, I met Josh way back in the day.
yeah, through a
Um,
dating app, good times.
and then yeah, Will and Chris joined a little bit later, but
Yeah, we found these two on Craigslist. We were lucky to have these guys, so thanks, Craig.
Okay, and then what about your first collaboration? Did you do covers at the venues at have gigs like that? How did you start?
no, no, it just started really. Josh had a couple songs that he played for me, and I really liked some of them. Then one of them in particular, I had some additional ideas for it. I was like, I like this, but I think we need to build it to a bigger chorus. So I'm just on the spot with him. I wrote a new chorus for the song, and that kind of kickstarted the whole thing.
What was
Yeah,
the
it's
song?
called Isolated. It's on our first EP.
Yeah, or mellower one. That Sunday afternoon's probably a more well-known example. That one's
Mm.
our um biggest song. It's also our oldest song, but that was a key example of collaboration between Alex and myself.
Yeah. Because Josh wrote the music for that one, and then I rearranged some parts a little bit, added a vocal melody and lyrics on top, and really just came together.
Heck yeah.
And what about the are you the two that write most of the songs? How do you how do you manage your songwriting?
Yeah.
And so early on, I think it was a lot of my demos that we worked on. Then our debut album, All I Know Is What I've Seen, it was primarily, actually mostly all of Alex's songs that
Yep.
we've worked on. And since then, it's become a lot more of a collaborative process with getting input from all of the guys in the band. And that
Mhm.
culminated into our latest single, Pull It, which is available on all streaming services.
Yeah. Pull It is really a good example of like all of us like bringing something to the table that made the song better. Like it was Josh's riff and chorus structure. I rearranged some stuff. Will added an awesome drum introduction. Chris added some low end, really hold it down. Yeah, it really just came together with all of us running it in practice.
Yeah, I'd say it's my favorite piece that we put together yet.
Yeah,
And I think it really shows in the song itself.
we're hoping to keep that kind of energy going with more of our new material as well.
Yes. The new direction we're moving in for sure with the band.
Do you have any musical training or did you just like music and then taught yourself?
Well, most of us have backgrounds like we did the concert band and jazz band and stuff back in the day. Always been playing music, musical family. Self-taught on guitar though. Like
Yeah, for the most
I have
part.
classical training in a lot of other instruments, but not guitar.
Oh, but you play guitar now.
Yep, that's what I do for the band.
Yeah. What about you guys? Do you have any crazy history with your instruments, or is it just
Not really. Kind of same what Alex was saying. Just played in school, high school, and college. We've all been in prior bands as well. So kind of got some experience there, and then all able to come together in this band and kind of hit the ground running versus starting from scratch.
Mhm.
I learned music from some gurus in El Salvador. They taught me all the
Oh,
music I know, so
Oh yeah, don't they
I
live on a mountaintop down there?
sure did. We went up there and drank some tea, sat around a circle, sang Kumbaya, and then next thing you know, I knew how to play music. So
That's awesome, dude.
what were they folk songs and folk music that you learned from them?
Mm.
yes, it was a lot of folk songs that we primarily focused on.
Can you sing us one right now in Spanish?
No.
I would prefer not to.
So just give us a little bit of details about how you came together. I know that you said who and who joined, but how did you decide that you wanted to form a band, and then uh how did you gain your members, and then did everybody play the same instrument that they're playing now? What's the incarnation of the of a Pullstring Band?
So the original lineup of the band looked a little bit different. We had 5 members to begin with, and it was all kind of Josh's old friends. And I kind of joined last minute actually after I met him, and then we did those songs together. That lasted for a little bit, and then some of the guys left. We got some new members
Yeah.
in.
They went to pursue other opportunities. It was, everything was mutual. I still talk to those guys all the time. I love them, and
Mhm.
we support each other even now.
Yeah, so we went down to a 4-piece, and then eventually Will and Chris joined, and it's just been, yeah.
Yeah, the internet's a heck of a place, for better or
Makes
for
no
worse.
sense.
Who's the business mind in the band?
That's Josh over
Oh,
there.
that's me. I get to do all the managing outside of the music as well.
He's very good at it, I'll say that.
And when you register your works, do you go through CD Baby and all those grace notes and all that to so that you get your registration in, so that when, for instance, at WZRD, we have a service called Spinatron, and if all your metadata is correct, we'll pick it up. But otherwise, I will have to enter it manually. I haven't had the chance yet, but I will play uh, many of your tracks later after this interview.
Mhm.
And when you registered your tracks, do you remember going through Grace Notes and a CD Baby?
We use DistroKid for our distribution, and I believe we did all that.
Mhm.
I'll have to double check, but I'm pretty sure we did all the Grace Note and stuff. Yep.
Yes. Because then we love supporting our artists, and then that's how we when we show that we play them, it's entered there, and then eventually all the spins accumulate, and then you get your royalty check. That's what the licenses are for, to support you.
For sure.
Uh, so what genre are you? And was it always the same genre, or did it develop to uh, what it is today?
Alternative rock is definitely the broad answer that I would use to describe ourselves. But I believe that we pull from many different areas of influence into our playing.
Mhm.
Um,
What areas?
All punk, pop punk, grunge. Just a lot of like 90s and 2000s rock music is very influential for us. A lot of our early stuff was a little bit lighter, kind of more Strokes influence, I'd say. And now we're kind of headed in a more Green Day, Foo Fighters, a little bit heavier direction.
And it's interesting because a lot of our stuff starts more of like a singer-songwriter direction.
Mm.
It doesn't always come together as like a full band, what you hear on the recordings. So it's kind of fun where, someone brings an idea and it's kind of an acoustic guitar and a vocal, and then we're able to build it out as a band. Although that's not always the case. Sometimes stuff does come up in rehearsal, and it just flows naturally with the band. So everything from, a lot of our early stuff, when it's written, oh, this sounds like a Neil Young song. everybody has Beatles influence in our genre, I
Yeah,
suppose.
yeah.
But then sometimes it's like, oh, this is way heavier than anything we would have thought initially.
Yeah, I think a great specific example of that is the album track Sunrise off of our album. That song, I remember when Alex brought it to the band, it was an acoustic demo. You said you had more of a Neil Young vision for it. But as the song we worked on it evolved. And as I put my guitars on there and the rest of the instrumentation, um, definitely had more Pink Floyd influences, I would say.
Yeah, well, the main thing is you added like a synth track to it, which was something I'd never even thought about, but it made it really cool.
Yeah, that was a placeholder, to be honest.
Yeah, but it
And it
sounded
just
really
stayed in there.
cool. It's still kind of an outlier for our songs. Like nothing else quite sounds like it. It's really cool. I'm proud of that one.
Do you focus on the story or the song for your tracks?
I just do whatever the song tells me to do.
And
It's,
usually, what does the song tell you? How does let's take an example of one or two songs and tell us how the song directed you.
mm,
I think 20 something's a good one to talk about.
yeah. Well, it's just most of the songs. So I'll write it. I'll write it usually on acoustic, sometimes on electric, and I'll take it. I'll bring it to the band, and then we'll try playing it with the band, and that's where things usually start to change a lot. Usually it'll get like the tempo will change. So I'll write it at something, then it usually will get a little faster with the band, and then maybe we'll rearrange some parts. Then maybe even after doing it with the band, the energy will be different. So sometimes I feel inspired to write things or change parts of it. Usually I'll write a new bridge, um, or change some lyrics. Just depending on how it feels with the band will kind of really influence my writing, if that makes sense.
Mhm.
It'll always be faster.
That's kind of the main things. Usually I'll write a song pretty slow and then the band plays it a lot faster.
Oh, and what about the rhyming and all that, that writing part of it?
Yeah, the lyrics.
Mhm.
Lyrics really they come from different places. Usually I have like a notepad where I'm always writing down little ideas that I have. And I'll reference that sometimes when I'm trying to write something new, try to find something that fits and kind of find a theme. Or sometimes it'll be really natural. I'll just write something and then it gives me a certain emotion and I try to just capture that with my words and lyrics. It really varies though. I try to take inspiration from people like Neil Young though, with a good amount of like imagery if I can, plus other things to keep it interesting.
What inspires you? Is it when you tour from city to city, do you only tour in the Midwest now?
So far, we've just done the Midwest. We'd like to keep branching out further and further, but start reasonably close to home.
Mhm. And where do you find the most inspiration, if there is such a thing?
Just anywhere where there's people who are interested and excited by our music. Like we did a show in Milwaukee the other day where like it was a smaller venue, but it was packed full of people. And those people were excited and interested in the music. And that's what it's all about. So we were kind of crammed up on a smaller stage, but it was an exciting show. It was fun
It was a ton of fun. They souped up the place too,
for sure.
with the lights and an insane sound system. It was
Yeah.
Do you
something else.
did you have to hire somebody to find all these gigs for you, or do you do it yourself?
I get to do it all myself.
Mhm.
It's a whole lot of cold calling, cold emailing for sure. But once you have that connection, you have a connection in whatever city or venue, or even another band from the area, definitely makes it easier because you have a resource to reach out to.
Mhm.
And that's kind of how I built out most of our tour that we're currently on. It's a whole lot of networking and just becoming friends with people from the music scene. It's all a good time.
We've met so many good bands on tour so far.
Yeah,
Just genuine good people. Like,
for sure. Like the local scene in every single city we've been to has just been super duper talented.
mhm.
So you became friends with the bands. So there is so is it some bands that play together at the same venue with you, and then you stay in touch?
Yeah,
Typically, especially if we enjoy one another, we'll definitely follow each other on socials and whatnot. And the scene is so cool because we're always about the music and we always try to help one another out. So even if calendars don't line up for, say, a future show, we'll work to at least help other bands put on a successful show and vice versa.
Yeah, it's like a lot of bands have been asking us about like the Minneapolis music scene, and we're always happy to give them recommendations and like
At the very
places,
least, yeah.
yeah, places to play. If we can do a gig with them, that's even better. But
Yeah, the
yeah,
Minneapolis scene is something else for sure. It's a super talented scene. It's very stacked in any genre you can think of, to be honest.
yeah.
So it could be a tough nut to crack for sure.
What are some of the bands that collaborate with you in this way?
We got to shout out our friends in Motherwind. We first gig on our tour was in Eau Claire, Wisconsin, and Anthony from Motherwind let him crash with us. That was clutch.
Yeah, that just helps out our own budget as well. And we just get to hang out with our homies. We
Yeah,
were playing PlayStation after the show. It was a good time.
stuff like that. In Milwaukee, Secret Menu brought out their whole sound system for our show.
Yeah,
That
they're the
was
ones that souped up the place with the lights and sound system. It was crazy.
yeah. We're just each city we're making some new connections and friends. It's great.
And I'd say that's just the best way to grow as a band too, if you're listening and you're starting out as on your own musical journey.
Mhm.
So go out to shows, at least say hi, and have a good time.
How difficult is it to maintain this this love of the performance and uh, performing at gigs? And in addition, do you have a second job so that you're able to support this dream?
For sure. We all have day jobs, that's for sure. A lot
Mhm.
of us are here for the love of the music and we want to be a part of the music scene. And in our in our day-to-day lives, we have day jobs, but we still set aside time to rehearse weekly. And even on our own personal times, songwrite, make new things. Content creation is a big thing for artists in today's age.
Mhm.
Yeah. Anything else?
Yeah, I view the band as like a part-time job right now. I'd like to make it a full-time one down the line, but for now, like doing it because we love it and we're making a little bit of money, you know,
Yeah.
enough to maintain and go on tour and
Yeah, and
whatnot.
not take anything out of our pockets, which I think is the that's key for sure.
Yeah,
So I guess what you do is you go on tour and then take a couple of days away from work and then go back and to your regular lives until the next little tour comes up.
yep.
Yeah,
Yeah,
for
we
sure.
we usually just try to do like little weekend runs where it's like 2 or 3 days. This is kind of unique where we did a full like 10-day tour.
Yeah, Alex here is on spring break from college actually, so
Yeah.
it worked out like
Um,
that. And the rest of us, it's just kind of it's a good little vacation. It's a fun road trip with the boys, and I think we're having fun every single night.
Yeah,
That's
we've
great.
all got jobs that are understanding and let us take the time off, which is great.
Lucky for you,
Yeah,
and happy spring break, Alex.
thank you.
He's about to graduate in a
Oh,
Yeah,
couple months.
close.
congratulations.
Big boy.
Well, evidently you've been learning very well, whatever you have, so that you're able to put so much creativity into the songs.
Mm.
So in Eau Claire, it was a packed house. How were you able to manage that, Josh? What do you do to promote it so that there's so much?
Well, the
Uh,
Oklahoma one was interesting because that was actually part of a music festival they had going on that weekend. We got to be a part of the first night. And the rest of these shows, a lot of it's very DIY, meaning that I reach out and partner with local bands each of these stops, and we work to find a venue and put on the best event that we can in each city.
Yeah, so it's like e each band will help promote it a little bit by posting about it on social media. We usually like to try to create a couple like TikTok style videos about it too. I think we have like an ad going for a lot of these ones as well. Just anything we can do to kind of try to reach people in these cities to like show them what our live thing looks like.
For sure, and especially as we grow and expand outwards, there'll be a lot of new cities and new audiences, that haven't heard of Pullstring, and we just think of it as investment as well too, to plant the seeds. Because as we go to these places, and especially if it's a new place that we've never been to, not every single show for a young band is going to be a packed house. I
Yeah.
mean, that's the dream, that's the goal. I hope everyone has that, but reality, that's not how it's going to be.
Yeah, but
But
But the idea is you go to these places, there's always some people there. Make a couple fans, and then next time you come back, hopefully they come back, maybe bring some more friends.
And it just
And
grows from there. A great example of that is Ames, Iowa for us. We played somebody's basement once actually, and it was a good time. They keep having us back, but it grew to the point where um, Iowa State University, the local big college there, had us come back and play their music festival with a really cool lineup.
yeah,
Um,
that was a great show.
Oh, there you go. It's in Eau Claire. It was a festival that in which you connected with some fans, and evidently they remember you and wanted to see you more, and that contributed to the full house in Eau Claire.
Hmm.
And then in Ames, Iowa, same thing. You started your base at I guess a festival is a good place to start if you're able to get into the festival.
Yeah.
yeah. Well, Eau Claire was another example where we started small and eventually grew into a festival.
Yeah.
It's like a second home to us now at this point outside the Twin Cities.
How hard is it to get your band into a festival?
It could be challenging, especially if no one's heard of you or if you're new to the scene as well too.
Mhm.
All the cities where we have played festivals, we've played smaller shows in the cities before we ever got invited.
And it's usually someone went to our show who's involved with booking the festivals and saw us, or someone told them about us that did see us. So it's usually a word of mouth thing that actually really helps get the festival
Yeah,
gigs.
and it just goes back to the lesson of planting the seeds. So
Yep.
even if the show doesn't have the biggest turnout, you want to put on the best show you can because you never know who in that few people in the audience who they know.
Yeah.
How was your show yesterday?
It was
And
it was a fun one. I definitely I really tried to bring the energy for that one yesterday. We
and
we we went into it and we were all feeling a little tired from the drive and everything, but I was like, all right, I want to make this as high energy as I can.
For sure. And some of these dates, especially, on Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, those can be a bit more challenging.
Yeah.
And that gives you a chance just to, try new things on the road. How can we still bring that energy even when we're tired from driving 2, 3, 4, or 5 hours at a
Mhm.
time?
mhm. So I guess you rotate among yourselves to driving.
Yeah. We kind of trade off on driving and whatnot. Spread the duty around.
Mhm. And
That's the
where were
duty.
you last night in Chicago?
We're at the book club.
Yeah, we're a DIY venue book club. It's nearby Wrigleyville. I'm not sure if it's actually in Wrigleyville or not. I just remember we drove by Wrigley Field. We're like, oh, it's right there.
Uh-huh, uh-huh. And what are your plans right now? Do you have any new music coming out? Do you have and where are you playing next? And give us some details
Yeah,
about what our listeners could expect from you.
sure. First things first, we're on this tour, on a Spring Fever tour right now. And today is the halfway point, actually.
Yep.
Once we're finished up here, we're shipping right off to Champaign, Illinois. And we'll be playing the Space down there tonight. And then we got a few more stops throughout the Midwest throughout the next week. And then from there, I think we're just hitting it hard at songwriting.
Yeah. Well, to kick off the tour, we released two new songs, Pull It and Spring Is Here. Some high energy tracks. Um, Definitely some of the favorites we've recorded for the band, I think we'd all agree.
For sure. If you're fans of bands such as, The Replacements or Jack White, that kind of style of alternative rock, you'll definitely like our newer releases that we just put out.
Yeah. It's been fun playing them too.
It's been so much fun. Then as we hit songwriting, that's just kind of the new direction that we're going to be moving into.
Mhm.
And I think the big picture goal is that we'll have new releases ready by fall time. I
Yep.
think it's been a lot of discussions in the band for sure.
In the fall is probably the next time we'll do another major Midwest tour and hopefully be supporting a full album.
Well, a lot of our listeners are actually almost in foreign countries as well. So I'm sure that
Wow.
we have a lot of listeners that live around the in the Midwest as well. If our listeners want to know where you will be playing next and your whole itinerary so that they could come out to see you and support you, where should they go to get the information?
Oh, for sure. Socials are the best way to keep up with us at all times. I mean, you can usually find us at Pullstring Band on your preferred social media, excuse me. Instagram's definitely our most popular one. We're on, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, all that fun jazz. As well as our official website, pullstringband.com. That's just where we'll post a lot of stuff.
Yep. Well, it's always got our current like tour lineup on it, where we're playing next, the cities. Don't you also post it on bands in town?
Yeah, Bands of Town's another popular one.
Yeah.
I don't know, it's whatever major social media that people prefer to use, we're on there.
Oh yeah, our Spotify shows our gigs too.
Because I put it on Bands of Town.
Oh, it's
It's
connected.
linked together.
Cool.
Technology. But for the rest of this tour, we'll be hitting up Champaign, Illinois tonight, Dubuque, Iowa tomorrow, St. Paul, Minnesota, Des Moines, Iowa, Ames, Iowa, and Lawrence, Kansas. So it's a very Midwest-centric rest of the tour.
Yep.
Okay, and on Facebook is your handle Pullstring, right? Instead of Pullstring Band. I hope I found the correct page.
I believe it's at Pullstring Band.
Oh.
There's a defunct company that used to be called Pullstring, but they're no longer around. But also just to make things easier, all of our social media handles just say Pullstring Band, just to know that we are the band.
Okay.
Sure.
Yeah, because I think I saw your picture on the profile picture there, but well, I'll check again for Pullstring. Maybe yeah, we'll see. It's on Facebook.
For sure.
I'll check that too.
Awesome. And again, repeat your names and what you play so that so we could uh some of our listeners might have joined a little later. And so who are you again? Your band and what instruments you play?
For sure. We're Pullstring based out of the Twin Cities, Minnesota. This is Toke speaking. I'm the guitarist and manager for the band.
I'm Will. I hit the things with the sticks on the drums.
Alex, vocals and rhythm guitar.
I'm Chris and I play bass.
Well, thank you so much, Pullstring, for joining us on WZRD Chicago 88.3 FM today. And a lot of luck to you and good fortune and get your sound out there.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Thank you.
We gotta get a little radio package from the band for